learning to have General Wakeman problems, really.
Learning?
Josh learning.
Sorry, Josh.
How is
Yes.
Jeff learning that?
Jeff knows.
He made them up.
He's the master of General Wakeman problems.
My mother always said the Wakeman men are just explosions of trash.
She is right.
I've never heard that one before.
Her version of Wakeman problems. Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemma Champ or Lucky Track dog you run. SCCA, NASA, we won't discriminate as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussions, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot hella sweet or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just the tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff. And there's the pregnant pause.
We actually don't know where Mental is at all.
Maybe he'll show up.
You know what? Hey, I hope Mental's okay because it's unlike him to miss the show. So yeah, there it is. Well, he'll show up and the story will be fantastic, probably.
He can have his own episode for the story because we don't have time for that.
Welcome to Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back and listening to another episode of our podcast. This is 160?
Yeah,
possible
160.
160. Woof. If you're not driving, dominate the E1R bingo card. Link is in the show notes. Does anybody know show notes?
Recently heard a couple people say one of them being your brother almost got two different bingos. So people are playing.
Got like a plus pattern.
Yeah.
Isn't that what that's called? A plus?
Get your card out.
I'm not from Pennsylvania. I don't play bingo.
And BK, because we couldn't get the because none of us put a what is episode 160. The first thing I found looking at 160 was that it's the online non-immigrant visa application show.
Good.
Fantastic. We got to start
again. It's the online
non-immigrant visa
application. So it's like if you're not immigrating forever, but you want a visa.
Yes.
Okay,
it's
cool.
a DS 160 form.
All right, so fill out your DS 160s and tell us what you're working on. Should I go?
Yeah,
sure.
Go.
We've been working on the same.
I was going to say you literally just put down the wrenches, didn't you? Just put down the wrenches, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about the weekend first. So this weekend we had a work weekend. Woo!
Yay!
There was the four, no Mental because obviously he lives in Vegas, and then Uncle Dave showed up with a Cressida, so we got some major Z work done, and we got stopped in the middle of our Z work because we didn't have a set of LS flywheel bolts.
We didn't listen to our own advice. Get the parts.
Are you surprised?
I do have to say at one point, Chris said, well, we can't do anything more because we need blank bolts and Y bolts. And I said, oh, I have some of that. I did not have the right ones.
You have the clutch ones.
I have the Nissan clutch bolts.
We need the Chevy flywheel bolts, not flex plate bolts, because safety tip, kids, don't use flex plate bolts with a flywheel. They're not thick enough, and you don't want a flywheel coming off at speed. That's a great way to lose some feet.
Yeah. And if we would have discovered this on Saturday, we could have gotten them, but we didn't discover this till Sunday. Thank you, Napa.
Yep. Oh, well.
Yeah, there it is. But we should mention that we have.
What did we get done, though?
Well, that's what I'm going to say. We have the final position of the LS. We made it into the transmission.
How many times did it take us to get there?
Six-ish, Chrissy?
Yeah. And it was at least 6. It was at least 6.
It just felt like more than that.
Top tip. Oh! I think we have a Mental coming in.
What?
Oh, that's good.
He's not dead.
Good.
Well, we can keep going.
Well, I'll keep going.
Sit here.
While he's waiting.
Good audio. Well, so let's listen to Mental.
Let's wait for Mental to show up. I'll keep doing what I'm working on, so that way Mental knows where we are when he gets here. So yeah, so the LS got put in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out, which might
And then-
be a fun Saturday night with your.
I was saying, and then suddenly
friend.
the LS was soft and tired and needed
No,
a
exactly.
No.
Right
It
off
was-
the
and
ship
then there
with a
was-
joke.
Plenty of up, down, clock towards me. No,
Okay.
a little bit up, down, up. No, no.
In a little, no, a little more.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm in. Oh.
the audio
there-
recording would have been wonderful.
There was a moment
Okay,
where
I thought I was going to set the bottom bar for that joke, and y'all just blew right past it.
Oh, we identified that it was happening.
Well
but-
done. That
Yeah.
was awesome.
There-
Thank you so much.
the only
That's-
problem is that there was way more than one pin and one hole that all had to be all put together at the same time.
Sounds like a great
And-
time.
It's not. And it's a freaking engine. And you're trying to mate it to something that is already in the car. It was not easy.
Yeah. But so we did get it in, we did get it all measured, we got it centered. We discovered that our water pump is not the right water pump, so we have to get a different water pump.
Well, which is the right and which is the wrong one? This is
so,
important consumer
yeah,
advice.
Important consumer advice. The C5 water pump, that would be for a 5.7 liter non-LS motor.
It's still an LS.
It's still an LS.
It's an LS.
It's not the same
LS1.
Gen LS as ours. LS1. I think
LS,
the
they're
internet
both-
said it looks like a big black tit, and they were absolutely right.
Yeah.
We need the C6 water pump, which is flat, and I will
Yep.
not say like blank person because that would be terrible.
Yep.
Yeah. So but we got it in. The motor mounts are made. It fits the transmission. It fits the hump. The oil pan is glorious in Hoop-de-Deville. It is like the
Mhm.
most amazing thing you've ever seen. And
I wouldn't go that far.
no,
And I've been to
it's-
3 World Fairs and a goat F.
Never mind. So yeah. So we did
show up late from now on. This is awesome.
Yeah, we did a bunch of interior stuff too, just because we ran out of other stuff, and we did some lightning in the front and got rid of a bunch of stuff.
So you adhered to the ideas of the episode about making the most of your work weekend, and you had multiple projects lined up.
Yes.
Yes, but you missed the other part where we didn't have a critical part and had to stop with important things because we didn't have one essential part. So
if we
gotta
would have
listen to our own
had
advice.
the LS flywheel bolts, it would be in the engine compartment where it would stay until it blew up.
Yep.
Maybe. So, but anyway, so it's still on the bench. It's but ready to go right back in. I will say one more quick thing, and then I will hand it over. We'll go to Chris so Mental can continue preparing.
Giving him too much credit.
I had an unpaid furlough day. My entire university had an unpaid furlough day for Indigenous Peoples Day. And I ripped apart the house like you would not believe. The dogs are very unhappy. I have removed almost the last bit of disgusting carpet from my house. And we have lots of kills on the floor, and only one dog walked through the wet floor paint. So it was pretty good. But yeah, they're literally like, "Daddy, stop it. I like the carpet. It smells like me." And I'm like, "No, it's not staying."
That's why it's going, dog.
Yeah, but the dogs are like, I can fix this.
Well, the new hardwood floor will not be as comfortable to their little paws.
Yeah. So well, sorry, dog.
Anyway, Chris, I'm interested because you sent a text and I was like, "Huh? You're doing what this evening?" So why don't you
tonight-
talk about your weekend and then what you just finished?
Yeah. Well, the weekend I was also doing LS stuff, but I started off Saturday helping out Uncle Dave putting new door bars in the Cressida. For those of you who have not seen the Cressida, frankly, the cage is pretty bad. It was designed by a lazy cage maker who left huge gaps all over the place, and the door bars are just straight. It's and like the forward bars don't come up even close to the pillar. Like it's just a lazy cage, and the straight bars get in the way, even when you're not a luxury
mammal.
Right, even without being a luxury mammal, it's just the straight bars are in your way. So if you're used to cars with cages are a little better. So we've been talking with Dave about doing this for a long time, and finally he said, "All right, yeah, I can make it this weekend." So great, he came down with a Cressida, We cut those bars out. We made some new ones. We only made one that was really just too short, which is a shame because that happens. But then found another bar that we actually had bent for the Z that was a perfect second bar. So we just cut a little bit off that and used that. That worked out nicely. And so now Dave's got some nice, generous door bars that go through part of the B-pillar and all the way to the skin of the door, basically. So it's a lot more comfortable and safer. So it's a win-win. For the Z, I helped make the mounts. Basically, I just welded them up and did a little help with the in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out. Because sometimes you just need to push. And
sometimes you need to invite a friend. Like,
that's true.
This job ain't going to get done with only 3 of us.
Yeah. I also did some wiring harness stripping, which is fun. Imagine a whole engine harness on a table, and you've got your laptop with some instructions, and you just start clipping wires one by one.
You run back and forth to your truck.
The truck, yeah, which is a really convenient thing that the race car and the truck have the same generation engine and wiring harness. So I can go over to the truck and say, what does that plug into? Oh, that's air conditioning. All right, I don't really need that. Oh, that's coolant level sensor. Pfft, gone. Helps to be able to mark those and take those out. So I did a lot of the stripping of the wiring on the truck. We're not done yet, or not on the truck, on the Z harness, but we're getting there. Mental.
And Chrissy was doing a great job of posting all this up on our social media. And Corey, who I was with this weekend, saw you doing the wiring harness and said, "Oh, been there a lot. Takes me about 4 hours now."
Yeah, I'm not as fast as Corey because first time with this harness, so I'll work it out soon. And lastly, tonight I dug out the old rear lower control arms that I had on a shelf for the Civic for many years, and we proceeded to press and cut out the destroyed stock rubber bushings that were in it and replace the bushings. So we have new lower control arms to go into the Honda with new bushings, hoping that will help solve some of our rear wandery issues that we had at VIR, because right now the lower control arms are some aftermarket junk ones I picked up on Craigslist like 8 years ago. I really haven't looked at them since. So,
but they had like those sexy spherical bearing things.
Well, those are the trailing arms.
Oh, those are the trailing arms. Oh,
yeah, trailing arms. Lower control arms are the horizontal ones that go left to right from the subframe to they attach to the trailing arms.
Yes.
But you know the blue control arms we have.
Yeah, those blue ones. Things. Those blue aluminized.
Yeah, those are coming out because I don't necessarily trust that the bushings are already good because something's moving. And there's not all the other bushings in the rear suspension have been replaced in the last 2 years.
So are these like stock ones or these like aftermarket ones similar to the ones we had?
These are aftermarket ones that are or stock control arms, but poly bushings, because it's actually the cheapest way to get new bushings is just to get a set of poly ones.
So it actually looks less cheaty.
Well, kind of.
It is less cheaty. That's the lesson for the listener.
Stupid red bushings, because the only ones that I could get in 2 days are the red ones and not the black ones. So we got this stupid red energy suspension.
But every time you're behind a flat build kid in their Honda, you can see their bright blue lower control arms under there.
Right.
Straight from
now
eBay.
We have stock cast ones. So I mean, they should be strongest ones we can get, but now with the new bushings, we'll see if it makes any difference. But anyway, we're going to be totally unlike us and not put these in until we're at the track on Friday, which is really strange. But these really only take a few minutes to do per side. They're 3 bolts once the car's up in the air, and the car is still in the trailer from VIR. I don't really want to take it out and set everything up, and just to do that quick job when it's going to be up in the air on Friday at the track, because we got to do an alignment and quarter weight anyway, while people hurl rotten produce at us and calling us cheaters for doing corner weighting and aligning on hub stands at the track. But
which when we're done for a proper bribe, if you queue up
else's car,
no,
don't be offering my services to other people. I don't want to do this to other people's cars.
All right.
No way.
Oh, no, we weren't going to do it. We were just going to stand by there, drink their booze, and sit in a chair from a social distance and go, "You're doing that wrong."
Well, that's a possibility, but anyway.
Yeah. Advice is always free.
It is. It's worth what you pay for. Mental, what have you been doing aside from showing up late? We are actually worried you died because we didn't hear from you.
Packing, traveling, unpacking, washing, packing, preparing for travel, But this weekend, and more on this in a minute, I got to see lots of friends. Finally got to meet Randy Bish in Meet Space. That was awesome. Saw a lot of the old friends. We'll talk about that. It was
I'm actually
a
surprised
really good
you
time,
went-
but literally.
So I'm surprised you actually
Go ahead.
went home. Like you have to be here tomorrow, and you just left Michigan to yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you went west
and
to go
hence,
east.
right. And hence why I was late, because I had to squeeze all of last week's work and this week's work into today. So, and picking up one of our devoted listeners, Slider, still having eye surgeries and that sort of thing. So they tend not to let you drive with that. So I took him to surgery this morning, picked up this afternoon, and then I'm dealing with Vegas traffic, yay. So I thank you all for waiting. And I'm going to thank the listeners for waiting. Not like it's any difference to you because you're hearing it at the same time, but I appreciate your patience and your support.
They didn't wait. And we only waited so long. Once Jeff was here, it was like, nope, that's a quorum. We're going. Show up.
And it's
Hey,
fair.
good use of the word
It's
quorum.
Legit,
Yeah.
we did look at each other for a while and say, if we had a show, it was just the Chris and Chrissy show, would be pretty boring. So I guess we'll.
No one wants
Hey.
to hear that.
Hey, Chris, what are you doing? Hey,
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh.
we live in the house together. I already know.
right.
Yeah. And that actually, that podcast already exists, so we won't
It's
go
true.
down that path.
It's true.
But yeah, I haven't had much to do. And I came home and then I'm washing my clothes that are going right back in the bag and my flight driving suit and all this stuff. So aside from in and out, up, down, that's it. Chrissy, what have you been working on? Or did you already do you and I missed it?
No, I helped this weekend on the cars, made some food. We had a great dinner. I
We
forgot to
did.
post a
Yeah, we
picture.
What was that? Was that like a beef tenderloin
It
Yeah.
was.
and a quahog? We all got a quahog.
Yep.
Yeah, homemade stuffed quahogs. The quahogs came from the dock, under the dock at the Cape. Our neighbor quahogs in front of our house and gives us some. So, but
By the way,
that
those
was-
of you who are not in the Northeast, that's a big ass clam.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
Starts with a Q.
It does. Yeah. And so we had a nice weekend. It was nice to see everybody. And then we're scrambling, trying to get stuff ready for the race this weekend. That's it.
Nice. Keep it moving. News and notes time. Yeah, we had so much news last week. Some of this is half a week old, but I don't care. This is a special message going out to Liam. Yes, Bill's son, Liam. It is time to start taking advantage of your father's addiction to buying cars he does not need. Start now laying the groundwork on why your Toyota A86 isn't any good anymore, because Subaru just announced that the new BRZ is on the way. There are pictures and other things on a Road and Track article. So yeah, get excited. New BRZ, long time waiting. That chassis has been sitting there for a long time, not getting any improvements. So turbo this one, guys. Come on. Don't let us down.
You're funny.
Don't
All
turbo.
right.
No, never turbo.
Well, this is super exciting. Move
Subaru,
over.
They can turbo things.
And then they'll blow up. Move over, bring a trailer. There's a new way to waste time and daydream at work. Radwood is introducing Rad for Sale. Daily auctions of vehicles and other radness from the 80s and 90s, brought to you by our buddies at Radwood. Check out the radforsale.com. Link in the show notes. Sign up by October 31st and they'll comp your first listing free within the first 30 day of launch. Really excited for this because I do get the daily bring a trailer.
Yeah.
And I show Chris a car every other day. They've had a ton of NSXs up recently. Some of them pretty interesting. There's a yellow one up today. Anyway, I'm a big fan of Bring a Trailer, so this is really fun.
And I got to hang out a little bit. Brad is currently crisscross. Well, he's on his way. He's back in Nevada now, but he was driving across country to Gingerman on a Ducati. And he was helping us out in the penalty box on Saturday and Sunday.
Excellent.
So I got to talk to him a little bit about that. He's pretty geeked about it. Also, Tom Taylor over at Motor Biscuit published a piece about Bugatti being sold to Rimac, and the sale, I think, is still pending approval by EU officials, but it's going to happen. But it involved, at least in part, the controlling interest of Rimac going to Porsche, specifically under the Volkswagen Group. And what Porsche is really wanting to do is Hyundai owns a part of it, and they want Hyundai's part. They want to buy all of that out. And it's part of this is to help Volkswagen recover from Dieselgate, but to position the entire company for a foray into the EV market. Bugatti is going to be going pure electric, which is what Rimac, the car that Richard Hammond put on its roof a couple of years ago. So they're doing that, and a larger question looming in all of this. Say what?
Doesn't narrow
I missed that, Chris.
Yeah,
It doesn't narrow it
puts
down.
on its roof doesn't narrow it down.
Compelling argument, true. So, but the fate of Lamborghini and Bentley, now they were both acquired by Volkswagen about the same time, and they are positioning to put both of those manufacturers up on the auction block as well, in order to focus on their EV technology and reduce their carbon footprint. So, with the exception of Porsche, all the fast stuff that VAG makes is on the block. Link to that in our.
Bentley's going to go to a Chinese company. That's my bet.
Yeah.
I say that, or a
choice.
Malaysian or Indian company, because a lot of those high-end stuff has ended up in Indian hands.
Well, like Tata owns Land Rover Jag,
Yeah.
for example,
Good question.
and some Malay company owns or did own Lotus, or maybe still does.
But the difference between these Malaysian and Chinese companies is these Malaysian and Chinese companies produce and sell like a gagazillion cars, while Rimac has sold, I think, less cars than I have. So
yes, Rimac's primary business is not making cars. They are consultants for everybody else that is going into EVs, and most of their agreements with major manufacturers involve them kind of keeping their production to less than 500 cars a year. So they are almost contractually obligated to be a niche manufacturer.
And they probably still have 499 of them like in their dealers ready to be purchased. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Upcoming races. World Racing League is going to be in Oklahoma, where the wind goes sweeping down the play. I'm sorry. Took me a second. Meta, you lived in Oklahoma. Why are you making me sing that?
If you clicked on the link, it was actually Hugh Grant, or no, I'm sorry, Hugh Jackman, not Hugh Grant.
Oh, okay.
Hugh Jackman singing that song.
I say Hugh Jackman. That guy can sing.
Yes.
Well, I will scat the next part of this portion of this update. There's going to be 40 cars, 16 BMWs,
boring,
11 Miatas. One of them is Rocksteady Racing, our friend
What's
Todd.
happening here?
I'm sorry. One Honda, 6 Porsches, including our buddies Trevor and Tyler with Kingpin Motorsports. This is World Racing League. What track is it in Oklahoma?
Hallett.
Hallett. Thank you. That wasn't in the notes.
Wonderful track. Go there if you have the chance.
Good. And not ever have been raced in the Dust Bowl. I don't know any of the tracks out there other than Hallett. So, yeah, there it is. Is this Kingpin Motorsports Toyota Celica that is for sale? I did not know that.
No. There is the one like non-Miata BMW Porsche entry, aside from like there's one Mustang, there's a Toyota, and the team's name is for sale.
Oh, got it. This event, like their December scheduled event championship at COTA, is sold out. Thank you, WRL, for keeping us involved in the listing, even though I make fun of how many BMWs are there.
All right, we'll talk about this in a little bit later, but Lemons is headed to one of our favorite events, Halloween Hoopty Fest in New Hampshire. Our fifth host, Eric Rude, was on point with the entry list. 98 cars, 16 of them are BMWs.
Boring.
Still boring.
3 Miatas, 10 Hondas, 3 Porsches, and a good combination of unusual New Hampshire suspects. Or usual, but they're probably unusual too.
Yes. Sobs of Anarchy, Oscar's Junk Heap, with the Javelin, Bazinga, both of FRS's Ugly Uncle, Solara's, hit 'em with the Hein in their Ranger, Punisher GP with full strength, both Porsches and one of the Peugeots. Oh, very nice. They're becoming quite a legit conglomerate over there. They're going to start like getting a lot of points in national championships or something.
What a waste of time. No one wants to actually do that. Also there, Sasha and Sputnik. So, now with more roof, he's probably going to make 12 gallons of soup or something ridiculous, because that's what Sasha does. Amanda and Momrath Racing with special guest Pantsless Matt. That's always going to be great. Half Dan and Lemontarians. Love his boots. I'm sure then we'll also see Alex and Randy, and apparently Donnie's making a trip up as well. So, he's coming to all the Northeast races this year, which is kind of strange for a man from Florida. but
Exactly.
Donnie is
Finished
kind
his
of strange.
degree. He's got a lot of time on his hands.
we have always had a great time at this one. This is always the one that I hated missing when I was deployed. So even though we'll have all 3 cars, we are not going to be full strength for this event. Jeff's grabbing it. I've tried to delay it as much as I could. He's got to put the mouthpiece in. So 3-pedal mafia will not be full strength for this event. But
By definition,
if
every
you're
time
gonna-
Jeff plays the trombone, it's a sad trombone.
I can't do it. That's close I got.
Fair enough. If you are going to be there and we haven't met, come on by our pits. Stay 6 feet away, put on your mask, but say hi. We'd love to meet you. Of course, our old friends are always welcome. And let's just bet on we're not going to be able to do this. If possible, we might be able to walk around the track, but probably not. And it's just because of the safety requirements that go on with that. So we will do our level best to do a virtual track walk. If nothing else, put on your mask, come by, stay 6 feet away, and we'll do a track map walk.
Hey, we're going to do a virtual track walk in the main topic today, so they don't even have to wait that long. But
That's right.
if you have questions, we can talk about it because, hell, we've been going to this track for a long time. Yeah.
I was thinking the other day.
Our phone number at the end of the show if you have questions.
I was thinking the other day, I think this may have overtaken New Jersey in the most tracks ever that I have been on.
Okay. Well, yeah, because it's every year and then some years twice.
Well,
So
and
for
then
you-
some years in New Jersey,
New Jersey.
we did the other
Yeah,
track.
true.
So
And I used to run this back in the day with BMW Club and Com SCC and stuff like that in my E30 and my M3 and stuff. So I've been going here for a long time.
It's
Yeah.
a great track, and it's a lovely time of year. Especially now living in the desert, I always love going up there, and I understand the whole concept of leafers because it's a lovely drive. It's pretty to see.
You and I are going to have 7.5 hours in the truck to look at it, my friend. So
Feel sorry for Chris. He's trapped with me with no relief from Chrissy.
well, recent results. Oh, this is me. Mental ran the Tony
it's
Swan
green. Yeah.
Never Say Die Memorial Race. Lemons at Ginger Man. And the XXV.
It was sorry, I didn't know the number until I got there because normally 1, 2, 3, and they gave him 128, and I failed to update the notes. So it was the 128 V8 BMW. It was towed out there by Cali by Marvin Wood, and him and his wife are looking to retire. So they loaded up the RV, threw the Lemons car in the trailer, and they've been traveling the nation, figuring out where they want to retire to. And then if there's a Lemons race nearby, they go racing.
Cool.
That's fun. Hey, why not?
Another win. Domination Nation. The Sky Camino, the Saturn Sky Camino again of the Boneyard Bushers. Second was Team Orca. Don't know what they drove. Third
have
was. Go ahead.
They used to have a Caprice. I don't know what they have now.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Third was Team Non Sequitur. B class was the mighty Eliminator Ford Probe of the Burnt Rubber Soul. C was the other Lemons Rolls Royce of Pacific Motors Rolls Royce. Any idea what motor was in that thing these days? Was it still the Viper motor, Mental?
Yeah, I
don't know.
should have
That's
asked.
okay.
I didn't. It snarled a little bit. It was not slow.
No.
Yeah. Well, there's very little Rolls Royce left in it at this
Yes,
point.
it's true.
And Viper motors don't sound good. That's a sad truth of Vipers. They sound kind of bad.
They're kind
Sounds
of
like
And if they're running the Viper motor, they figured out a way to make it sound pretty good.
all right, that's good.
Judge of choice was 43 Team Shark Cart in the 85 Accord hatch, done up as a super bird. It sounds like right up your alley, Chris. 85 Accord.
Those were wonderful cars for the time, but it's been a long time since 1985.
What would be in an 85 Accord stockish? What do you mean?
It's about 85 horsepower, 1.8 liter carbureted CVCC engine with the intergalactic map of the galaxy vacuum line diagram.
Org choice was 666 Bad Decision Racing. We mentioned last week with a 47 Plymouth Flathead in a 95 Camaro. Mental, you got a report on this sucker?
So Corey was asked to drive that, and actually I ended up being scheduled to drive it on Sunday before they blew out their U-joints. Unable to duplicate a shifter for the transmission on that one. They had a welded angle lug handle and another lever that they just welded on with a laminated diagram of which levers pointed in which directions equated to what gear. So you had to just move a series of shifts and levers to get it through the 3 gears, or reverse if you needed it. And right up until the U-joint fell out of it, they did a great job of being out there, turning laps and just staying out of everyone's way. And it was hilarious. They added 400 pounds with this giant iron lump and then reduced the horsepower to 1/3. And
Excellent. That's
Jeff's getting ready to sneeze, so we're gonna it was
sorry.
So beautifully, wonderfully Lemons.
Now the regional in my house. Go on, keep going.
All right, the regional. We can't believe you didn't dominate. Went to the number 73's Mercedes compressor with the 2.3 liter Pinto engine, who actually mostly ran all weekend and did a great job, just like the Superbird. They ran clean, they ran predictable, they stayed out of everybody's way. And IOE, a little overdue. If you guys remember 2 years ago at Pit Race, the beautiful brown 626, the minty 626 that showed up. Chris or Jeff, sorry.
I would like to mention, I forgot to tell this story last week, but one of my high school girlfriends on our very first date, I T-boned a 626.
Is that the highlight of the evening?
Marry her. Big surprise. All right.
Yeah, so probably.
It was a brown rubber sole racing with the good Sloman was out there, and they were also second in Class C. So they got the IOE. A little overdue on that one.
Cool. And car 137, the Hell Kitty Prelude SI, Tony Swan's old car, was 57th after dying Saturday, unfortunately. The super cool Alpha 155 GTV6 was 12th overall and stayed ding free. You know, Alphas have a way better, way better history in Lemons than they deserve to, frankly. And the million mile Jetta TDI of Alan and Chris never started, you know. Hey,
nope.
It's a Volkswagen.
I should mention that I hit that 626 with a 73 International Scout.
So it bounced.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Did you jump out, kind of cup your eyes and go, 4?
No. I said, oh man, that's a big dent. So, listener feedback.
Kreggers, the first listener in the history of the Everyone Racers podcast to use our Google Voice, texted me immediately, like on my way to work. I got a Google Voice text message saying, send me the batteries. I'm in the middle of processing a bunch from already dead scooter batteries. He's got some interesting paddock projects, so he will actually use Jeff's old weed whacker batteries for some of that nonsense. So Jeff, get Kreger those batteries.
Yeah, they're all yours, Craig.
Can take them, not Jeff.
DM me on the face Twitter and we'll figure out how to get them to you. Because I don't think I'm going to see him at a paddock anytime soon. So.
I have Kreger's address I can give to you.
Yeah, we'll mail him.
Okay.
On the Facebooks, Joshua Clabo was able to spur my memory about the video game. He says, Jeff, the game you're thinking about is probably Wreckfest. Absolutely. I don't know why I forgot Wreckfest in my brain. It's the only racing game I know that has school buses, combines, Reliant Robins, and a bunch of older American iron. Figure eight racing, dirt tracks, jumps straight up the last car moving demo derby, folk car racing. I don't know what folk car racing is, but it sounds exciting. It's got a lot of fun and encourages contact. I have never played Wreckfest, but it constantly comes up in the Lemons world that we should be doing Wreckfest instead of iRacing.
Folk car racing is a Scandinavian thing where basically they all get the Volvos and the Saabs and the things that they are pull them out of the fields and put a basic cage of them and run them completely stock around, like basically dirt rally stages, but wheel to wheel dirt rally stages.
Like in fields, right? I think I've seen this.
Like in the woods, you know, like really, it's more like a dirt rally stage that is circular. Well, not circular, but left, right, up, down, etc.
Yeah. Nice, but they're short tracks. They're not like.
Yeah,
like,
they're fairly short, but they're not just an oval.
Yeah,
usually.
More like a rally crossing through the woods.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
With whatever leftover Volvo you could find.
Whatever Volvo you got in your yard. Racers Rona reaction. I wasn't at any Lemons racing. I was packing up I was cutting
We were there.
floor. Oh, good.
Yeah, we were there. It was at Monza. So full circuit Monza combined. So the really long track, but no chicane. So this is a lot of really high speed stuff. Yes, Mental.
Awesome banking. Cars flying everywhere.
Yeah. And so we had some good, interesting shots. Like we positioned the camera at ground level, right when you come off of the banking, off of the oval onto the straight. And we got a good solid picture of a Lotus just completely airborne doing that.
Brian is so good at that. He really understands that.
Yep. So that was good. At the end, we get a wonderful shot of a Jetta. It went straight into orbit, but right past one of the camera stands. It would actually have these cameramen that move cameras in them. So that was a good shot. There were some Teletubbies Jettas run by the DeCousy brothers and they were running nose to tail the entire race.
The whole
one
time.
would get enough of a draft to pass the other one. And then
just hung out with them.
This is a 2 hour. It was a Sandoro, right?
Yeah. And they did that for the whole time. It was 130. They were going 130 because that's all the Jettas can do. That's flat out.
It's called terminal velocity.
Yeah. A lot of carnage as people were just getting used to the Lotuses. So, but I think half the field had the Lotus 49, which as they should. That was fun. I don't remember who won. Yeah, well,
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. But it was good. Mental, you were the only one of us at our race last night. How was it?
Yes. And speaking of people who don't remember who won, no idea. I know you tried your level best to set us up as administrators, but none of us could access any of the admin functions. Doesn't matter. We had just the good core group, about 8 or 9 of our regulars. Tyler, none of the super aliens were there, just the mid-level aliens. And Uncle Dave showed up, and Hamza was there. And after the first race, when his Oculus decided I'm done, he just sat in Discord and chatted with us. And we spent most of the race trying to recruit Tyler
like
into he's a pilot.
Yeah.
But it was a great time. We just sat around, chuckled, and Tom was there, Uncle Dave was there, and all the regulars are there, and we're running around, and we had the 87s and the TDIs. I ran the TDI trying to just get myself in the mindset of driving a front drive car at New Hampshire, and then the TDI is so god awful. I just jumped in the 87 for the second race and had fun. It was even worse. And Hamza kept coming back to this one concept, is that we're not really there to race on Monday nights. This is just our social therapy because we need to see our friends and talk to them about things, and that's what we do. And if you would like to be a part of this group, please join us. It's every Monday night at 9:00 on the Eastern. Then we do another race at 10:00. Get a hold of one of us, protected, to keep the spam bots out, like AJH77 whatever on YouTube. We're watching you, man. But we had a great time. And it's the typical where our faces hurt from laughing so much by the end of the race.
You know whose face occasionally hurts from laughing so much, especially when she just breaks completely, and it's hilarious. Chrissy's mom. And sometimes we break Chrissy's dad too, and then they both feed off each other, and then you just watch them for like 10 minutes, and they can't stop.
That is awesome.
Oh, we actually didn't say hi because Jim would have gotten bingo if we had actually said hi to Chrissy's mom, not just said whatever we usually say about Chrissy's mom. So hi, Mom.
Okay.
There we go.
Great. Hopefully you got bingo now, Jim.
Nerd topic time.
Chrissy denies this story every year, but I'm going to stick with it. A number of years ago, we went to the New Hampshire Holiday. There were a group of hipsters there driving around on a disco-lit golf cart that had an actual 70s style lit up dance aesthetic things, because that's what she did. And she was wearing a tank top, even though it was cold. And she spent the evening.
What just even happened?
That's all. Your internet's cutting out so badly that it slows down and then jumps
we
over a bit
missed
of
half
the
the
story.
story.
So we went from golf cart to prosthetic fangs,
and then it had a tank
like,
top even though it was cold.
And then hipsters were in there somewhere.
This sounds like a
I mean,
terrible dream.
You could turn your video off and try it again.
Find me at New Hampshire. Find me at New Hampshire. It's a funny story. I even rebooted my internet before we started trying to get this all figured out. So whatever. Cox is getting a call next week.
If you turn the video off, give it a shot. Maybe your computer's just old.
But then we won't see his sexy hair.
Well, in the meantime,
but you know what it looks like.
Jeff, you want to do a proper intro to the segment?
Sure.
Because
we are about to leave. Like literally in just a moment. You're probably in the East Coast. You're driving right now to New Hampshire Motorsports, one of the premier, dare I say, NASCAR tracks, and one of our favorite locations for a Halloween Hoopty Fest weekend. Quick shout out to New Hampshire Motorsports. They were one of the first really big tracks to really embrace the Lemons culture. Not only were they doing the Halloween race, but they were doing like pumpkin chunking and really just giving us great facilities, and which we're going to talk about, but also giving us great access and a great paddock, and holding events,
showers,
like drifting and things at the same time. So shout out.
New Hampshire basically made it a whole other event because we were there for the weekend. Like once it was Halloween Hoopty Fest, then that's when they added the pumpkin chunking, and then that got really big, and then they had the drifting. Really, it's because we were there. They said, "Oh, let's do other fun Halloween stuff." So props.
They also like the local media will come out, like so they're doing press releases.
Oh, you've been interviewed there.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was like the first time a newspaper showed up. It was actually a TV reporter showed up and like said, "Hi, we're here to cover this." And I think they even did like TV commercials for it.
Yeah, I think so. And you were, I think, on TV in New Hampshire because that's how exciting New Hampshire is. It's Jeff Wakeman, News at 11.
In a green dress.
Yep. It's about right. All right,
so pantsuit, technically.
It was a pantsuit. And your tattoo is my favorite that time.
That's right.
Let's cover some basic logistics, I guess, to get started. I'll handle some of these. Is when you show up, this is all if you've never been there. If you've been there, just deal with us. You stop in the gate to sign in, bring your own pen, because remember that's the COVID things now. This is also where you will pay for camping and where you will pay for testing day. Now, testing day is a little different at New Hampshire in that it's great if you only want to test the car and one driver. If you want everyone to test, it's a little more difficult because it's $150 for testing day with one driver. That's it. Every other driver that you want to have drive the car is another $50.
$50. Yep.
And they've got to get a different wristband to get signed in, a sticker on the helmet and the whole thing. So if you want everyone to test, well, then you're into it for $250, which is like a lot of other track days. And that's still pretty reasonable. If you just want to shake the car down though, only $150, but a little different. Once you get in, you go onto the bridge, feel like a real NASCAR kind of fancy guy under the fancy bridge and the gigantic infield. You can pick any spot you want in the massive paddock, except outside of a garage if you don't have a garage, because right outside the garage is reserved for those with garages, and it's for the people with the garages that are right there, the adjacent ones. So be advised there. And last thing here is that the bathrooms and the snack shack are in between the north and the central garages. The central is the one you come to first on the left. That's where HQ is. The north one is the one that's, north of that. And last weird thing to know about logistics is that traffic around the garages is clockwise only. The garage has to be on your right as you go by it. If the garage is on your left, you are doing it wrong and you're going to kill some feral children, although there are a lot fewer feral children these days with the COVID.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It's actually reverse of Connecticut, which always makes it interesting because it's usually the same.
Yes, exactly.
Cool.
Yep.
I always like to mention that the showers, there is a shower signed by some NASCAR driver, and I don't remember which one. I'm sorry. And
Jimmy Wallace.
I can't remember who it was. And the showers are a great place to defrost a turkey, but bring your own
turkey,
like frozen turkey and cooler, because you don't want to actually put the turkey on the floor of the shower. You want to keep it in a vessel above.
Don't
the
put it
floor.
on the shower head either.
No.
I love that you say we all know it was like 5 of them. There were like 5 turkeys.
Yeah.
I only did
That's-
2, I think.
No, at some point we were doing the turkey for everybody, and when we were doing the,
I don't think that was the year I had them still too frozen.
maybe so.
Yeah.
1 year we did 5. We may have gotten less that year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shower turkeys.
As much as I ask for them to be defrosted, they're like, well, they'll be defrosted by Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's October. Thanks.
Yeah, we're not waiting for that. And shout out to the Snack Shack. It's been a while since I've had to get it, but they have great breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah, some of the best bathrooms in Lemons that I've experienced, though, because they're pro quality, like NASCAR bathrooms. They've got like 6 showers.
Hella hot. They have they keep a heater on, at least in the women's room.
Well, usually we have to start
burner.
the heaters.
Oh, no.
When we get there on Thursday, it's not on, so we spend some time cranking that thing up. But it helps, and they have Gojo in the bathroom.
Yes.
Clean your hands.
They have people that clean it like
24/7.
a couple hours. I mean,
Yeah.
not 24/7, but I mean, they usually come in, wipe the counters down, leave, come back later.
Yep,
Yeah.
mental.
And also they are the ones that store the living room set for Sorry for Party Racing. They bring it out every year.
Let's see if
It's
it
just-
shows up
it's
this
just a
year.
nice-
Yeah, I think
It's just a nice track staff that is actually just willing to cater to an event that only shows up. They're just great people, and that's why when Jeff talked about pay attention to the direction of the paddock, because invariably on Saturday, by Sunday they usually have figured out. Invariably on Saturday, some jerk off is going the wrong way, and about the 17th person that yells at him, "Hey, idiot, you're going the wrong way," they're like, "It's not my fault. It is totally your fault. Pay attention."
Yeah.
Watch the.
So they're
driver's
probably
meeting.
from Long Island or something.
they may or may not be driving a convertible Mustang. I'm just saying, it's just, yeah.
I watched the virtual drivers meeting today. It was nice and short, but it was by Jay Lamb because he is going to be there. He said, "I'll see y'all there, and I'll be leaving soon getting on the big old jet plane." And we assume he'll be in race control. I don't know who would be judging, if it not Jay, but
Rich Von Snyder's been there for the last several years because his parents live in New Hampshire. So
I
he
spoke to
stops to say hello.
Rich, and he is not traveling because he has some family on the dangerous list for the COVID. So
Kim will be there, of course, I believe, and Ken and Dale, of course, will be there, and Eric. No, Eric's not going to be there, but some of the other regulars from the crew. In fact, yeah, Eric's taking a little bit of well-earned vacation. So yeah, it'll be a lot of familiar Lemons faces, and I think I mentioned this on the text today, but you guys might get tagged to do some work there. So yeah,
no
but
big deal. We usually do.
We usually do.
because you
That's
can't
fine.
say no to Kim. You
No.
can't. You can't say
And
no.
you shouldn't also.
No,
That's
you
the
really
other-
should.
Yep.
That's a smart plan.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, Jeff,
Let's see
if you
what
want
we
to
got
keep
here.
going with the
Sure.
things that you had there.
Sorry, I was
Or
typing
Chrissy,
later.
anything?
We did mention we were actually talking over the weekend about what we were going to cover and how we're going to cover the track walk. And there is a new pavement stripe that we showed up last year out of nowhere. So there might be some new stripy parts of the pavement. They're constantly making improvements, but we'll discuss exactly where that is in the virtual track walk. But rain is forecast for Saturday. So it's going to be a cold one. It's going to go down in the 40s at night and might be a little wet. So be prepared for the weather and bring your deep treaded tires if you got any, and be prepared.
Yeah, but it's been wet a number of races at New Hampshire over the years, and it's been cold enough that we've had to run the cars right before we went to bed to get some heat in them so things wouldn't freeze up overnight, or run the block heater in them, things like that. So good stuff.
Cool. Yeah. We already mentioned that Pantless Matt will be driving with Amanda, and there will be no Failbird for the very first time in a long time.
Yeah, no bird.
that
either.
might
It's
make
just
me
strange.
cry a little bit. But you know what? I did get my Mooshlong leggings, my pink Mooshlong leggings, and I put them on. And Vicky said, "I'm very disturbed. Please take those off." But those, if Pantless Matt is coming, I may have to bring them and put them on.
There you
I
go.
think you would do. No kink shaming. It's okay.
We should talk about our goals real quick. Are we going to try and win?
No.
No.
Hot damn! You mean I don't have to do a 4-hour stint?
No. You know,
I'm so excited.
We have 4 of us, so we're gonna stop 3 times a day, and everyone's gonna get a shift. Isn't that fun?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Chrissy, how do you feel not being there? Because you're not going to make it.
No,
I'm heartbroken.
I'm excited. I'm doing something fun, so I will not be there, but
All
you
right.
guys will have a great time.
As someone who has missed a lot of New Hampshire races, it's key that you sit in your bed late at night and stare at race monitor obsessively. And when anything delays slightly, text Jeff. Immediately text Jeff.
Well, I have
She's
you all
gonna
on
be busy. She's got another motor
I'm going
event.
to be driving a lot, so I'll not be texting and driving. But I'm sure I'm on a text line with all y'all, so I'm sure I'll hear what's going on.
Yeah.
Keep it shiny setup.
For both
But
of
some
us.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about some of the competitive cars this event. I mean, obviously, not us this time. Hell yeah, I'd be thrilled if we come in 8th. Like, that's my goal. 8th seems about right. But obviously, Amanda's obviously, especially with Matt driving too, is a clear favorite. And there's a mental laugh out of nowhere. All right, great. Scooby Doobies is bringing out the old Audi back. That thing's wonderful.
Oh,
so
that's
they
a
have
good car.
chance,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
Punisher GP is usually in the top 10, and they've been getting nicer lately. I like them more.
They have
that's good.
figured out how to make that 928 stay on the track. It sounds so nice going down that
Does.
straightaway. That's a great
does.
one. I would also throw out there, and we talked about this after the Connecticut episode, both of the FRSs are coming out from the Johnson's Toyota. My money's on the black one. I think they're
The red one has done a lot of events.
It hasn't finished.
No. I
a
mean,
lot
like
of
between, like they have taken that to a lot of other events. A lot of I don't know what they're doing, SEC or NASA. The guy Steve Jardine, who is the team principal, I guess I'll use
Yes.
that term, has been taking that out and like really getting a lot of track days and stuff with it. So I bet it's pretty sorted. I bet they are on point, and since I believe that is their home track, they're going to be gunning for the win.
And let's never count out the Cressida.
I was getting there.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
that and Betty.
Eddie,
You know,
I
we're
got my
that
fingers
was my
crossed
next
for
thing.
Betty. I really want them to break through that next barrier and really get there.
Let's see.
And
Those guys, Bruce and Greg, haven't touched a wheel to a track since this race last year. Well, Darren's fresh, but
It's always funny, and well, say always because we only see it a handful of times. It's always funny when Betty finds herself in the hunt because all of a sudden Bruce and Greg are kind of like, oh, we should not drink so much and like actually not be hungover on Sunday morning, and we should prepare for pit stops, and they're like suddenly very confused and a little apprehensive. But I remember at New Jersey a couple of years ago when Darren was calling in, "Hey guys, I'm almost out of gas, it's ready to pit." And Greg and crew were sitting in lawn chairs. Yeah, we're gearing up. And then they wouldn't move.
Like that 10 minutes later, he's like, "Are you ready for me to come in? We're almost there." They had their butts had not moved at all.
We're on the pit wall. And then Darren would just get mad and drive up to the paddock and get out of the car.
Betty has lost more races in the pit.
Yeah. Betty has lost most of her
off
races.
The track.
Most of her races Saturday night. I feel that's where Betty usually loses.
oh well.
I'm
looking at the entry list. Who else might have a shot? Hey, Bazinga, they keep coming in top 10. They've kind of sorted that out.
Yeah,
Jeff, you should
absolutely.
bring some parts for them or something. Like, here, take all this
I don't
crap.
have my truck. Maybe I will. But they
yeah.
live here. I just have to trade a phone number. We were a little busy last time at the end of the race, so I missed them.
That's true. Yeah, we were. All right,
Chrissy,
so
did we see a hand or that you put back down? Did you have something for this?
That was no, I'm sorry. That was throw parts at Bazinga. Here are all the parts. I apologize. That's what that was.
Take these parts. We don't want them.
Yeah. We're a little further down the pike now, so we know we don't need that part. We don't need that part, but So anyway,
I know we're talking about New Hampshire, but by the way, after this weekend, I drove a 450 horsepower iron block 6-liter swapped E36 6, and I am, after Corey's Omega and driving this thing, I am totally in the LS all the thing. Of course, I'm going friggin' robot again because
We're just sitting here going, what do we do?
What?
It's okay. It's okay. We actually heard
we
it
heard
and
most of
understood
it.
this
Messa.
one.
We heard that you drove a very fast 6-liter iron block E36, and that after that, in Corey's car, you are full on LS swap all the things. All right, cool.
So yes, our nemesis. Are our buddies going to come back?
nope, you're not on the
angry?
list.
Not on the list.
You're not
Nope.
on the list.
I didn't
Not
see
on the
it.
list.
I am not surprised.
Nope.
Boom! Suck
there.
it, losers.
Nope.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. We're not even going to say their name like Voldemort. Virtual track walk time. Chris, you
Hell
lead us
yeah.
around and we'll talk about it.
Sounds great. So I guess we'll start off with getting on and off the
Yes.
track from the paddock, because that is difficult to do. So, but we'll do that. But then I want to go back. I guess we'll just start there at turn 3.
Yeah.
But so to get onto the track from the paddock, you drive to the south side of the central garages,
Mhm.
past HQ, and then you stop and get checked for everything. It's usually either Betty Blue Nose or somebody else. So make sure you
Dale and Ken are going to be there, both of them.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. So then you take a left onto pit lane and drive all the way to the end of pit lane. And actually, in a race, that's where they check you. That's where Dale or Ken gives you a check for all the things.
Yeah.
All the way down at turn 1. So you're all the way down at turn 1. You get Ken lets you go, and then you drive on this weird coned path outside of the fence, but inside of cones from cars actually racing next to you. And you keep going all the way through turn 2, and it seems like there's no place to go. It's just cones everywhere, but just keep following the wall, and suddenly you'll get around the flagger at turn 2, and you'll see track in front of you, and there you go.
And turn 2 inside that little slot, that little cow pass like slot. It's like a 110-degree turn. It's like really tight.
Oh yeah. Like I was worried that like some of our larger cars, like the rolls, like wasn't
Weren't gonna make it. Exactly.
Yeah. So be careful there, but also be careful going around that corner, because sometimes you'll get somebody right around that tight corner entering the track who is stalled or has a problem. And if you just start to give the beans, as soon as you're in this blind corner, you might have a problem in front of you. So wait till you're around that tight corner till you can see straight through to turn 3, then give it a go and stay left for the blend line.
And there is plenty of straight. So if your car can accelerate in that time, it's not like Thompson. I really feel like I sometimes have to do like a drag start because it's not that long, but you have no excuse in New Hampshire.
CMP, you don't have any. You've got to basically do a drag start, for example. Thus you have plenty of room. The track's also really wide there, and the traffic is staying kind of up on the banking a bit, so they're not really interfering with those coming in the blend line.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're coming into turn 3. This is the hard right-hand turn to cross the track to go up the hill. This has gotten better last year because they added more pavement on the left, to driver's left there. So usually they put up some cones. Those are usually gone by the end of hour 1. That's fine. So basically,
by hour 1, he means lap 2, but yes.
Yeah. So, well, no, they're
there for a little while. Yeah.
They work up to it. So stay left as you're coming into there. You're going to basically, once you turn left, like there's a break point in the track where it really actually has a left turn to it. That's your break in a straight line point. And especially the new pavement is a lot better than the old pavement. And that's going to apply doubly so to the rain. The new pavement's going to be a lot better deal with than because there's a lot of really old pavement at New Hampshire, and it is slippery when it's wet. So stay on the new pavement to brake. So break it down coming into 3. This is usually going to be a second or third gear corner for most people. And you're going to kind of, your apex is, there's like a rumble strip-ish thing on the right-hand side. There's like a little spit of it. That's kind of your apex if no one's around, but there's usually 2 or 3 people.
There's 3 people trying to squeeze into a 2-car opening.
Right. So then you cross over the track, and then you hit the uphill once you're off the NASCAR surface. And when you hit that uphill, you all of a sudden have a huge amount of traction that you did not have. So you can be understeering across the NASCAR portion, and then as soon as you hit the uphill, boom, you've got all that traction back to get back on the gas. But if you don't have a limited slip or lock diff, odds are you're going to spin that inside rear tire coming up that hill for a lot of things. I know we did with the boat and the Ombre for a long time. You just had to modulate the gas as you work your way up the hill.
Or
weld your head going, Chrissy, sing the song.
Yep. Or weld it up.
Yeah. Weld that diff.
Modulating the gas. Modulating the gas.
Yep. If this is a trick that only our listeners will know, if it's wet, stay wide on turn 3 and especially into turn 4. You say, why the hell am I driving out here and all the marbles and stuff? There's twice as much traction out there in the wet than on the inside, because the inside line has all the rubber from all the people spinning their inside tire up the hill all these years. There's no traction there. So
also, it's you're crossing a diagonal hill. Like you're crossing the hill kind of diagonally to get from the outside to the inside, because you're trying to do outside, inside. And it is not like a single plane. So the angle that your tires are going to be hitting is different where you hit it. And I feel like if you're outside, you're actually at a more advantageous angle because all 4 tires are at a more similar angle.
In the rain, yeah. In the dry,
rain, yes. No, in the rain,
dry,
absolutely.
Try to cut it more tight. But and that's this turn 4 we're talking about now. As you're kind of coming up the hill, and as you crest the hill, that it's plenty wide here. This is a good passing zone if you've got any power. There's going to be a flag station on your right, which is usually where they display the black flag signs. And if you look way off to the right, there's a boulder. And no one ever notices the boulder until they almost hit it. Which
don't look at it while you're driving, though.
No, don't look at it from the
then
paddock.
You'll go there.
The boulder.
Yeah.
Yep.
And tell the story about that, Chris, because it's a good story about the boulder.
Oh, it's Swedish Mafia who used to run there. Nice team. They hit the boulder and they said, "Oh man, I spun it coming up 4 and hit the boulder." And we all said,
What boulder?
What are you talking about? Boulder. And we look up in the hill, and wouldn't you know it, there is a boulder bigger than the Suburban sitting up on that hill. And I've never seen it because I never looked over there.
It's kind of down the hill.
Yeah, but it's a big ass boulder.
It is. It is. Don't forget, everyone. New Hampshire, the granite state.
Absolutely. All right, so you come up over the crest of the hill at the flag station, and
can I say something about the flag station real quick before we go on? This is the best best black flag station in all of Lemons that I have ever seen. If you miss the black flag, you're an idiot. It's like much. 4 guys in like a machine gun bunker, and they're right there. Like you cannot miss these guys. I don't mean to genderize them because it's men and women, so I apologize for that. But yeah, 4 flagged people right there. They have a number board. They walk out and they point at you. Like
they do sometimes.
You can't miss this black flag.
Yeah. And when you're going over this hill at 5, you can't see the other side when you're going over it. And it has a slight turn to it. So what I would advise is pick something over in the parking lot that you're going to see in the distance as your spot, whether it's a certain tree, or one year they had a blue dumpster there. That was perfect. Another year it was a porta potty. Find the spot to aim at, because you're going to need one when you come over the hill. So many people come over that hill and have to turn like right because or left. They're not expecting where the track goes. So as you come over the hill, you're going to have a good head of speed up. And right as you're coming to the bottom of the hill at 5, you can brake, but you can brake really late there because you're bottoming out on a hill. Mm-hmm. But stay all the way right as you do
I'm
so.
nodding my head as if the people in the internet,
the people listening can hear this.
That's right.
Stay all the way right as you do so, a little later than you think, because the next is a whole complex. The 6, 7, and even into 8. It all flows really well if you turn into the bowl correctly. So I like to wait a little bit later if there's nobody around, stay high, and then look kind of over your left shoulder almost all the way through the corner. And then you dive down into the bowl is the best way to describe it. You want to get all the way down to the bottom with one solid decisive turn in. And then once you get past that point, very gradually unwind the wheel as you work your way back up the track. And as you do so, you'll go out part way, and then you'll end up naturally just coming back into the apex of 7 at the next flag station. as you keep unwinding the wheel, and you keep unwinding the wheel a little more, and it'll naturally put you right at the apex for 8. But before we get any further, we got to talk a little bit more about getting through the bowl safely. Like, the most important thing is do not put wheels over the top of the bowl. You can maybe get away with your right to, but if your left to get over there, you are done, and you're probably going into the pea gravel that's there that you probably will not get out of unless you have 4-wheel drive.
The deepest gravel you've ever seen in your life. I don't know what it is about this turn, and maybe you can explain it, Chris, but we talk about alternate lines, and we talk about, the best way to pass is to know what your car can do offline. Offline does not work here at all.
Not really. You lose so much speed
There's
going
so
offline.
much speed, and maybe it's because of the hill, but if you don't do this right, the only passing lane is to do this correctly online.
Yeah. You end up so often going into the bowl not on the line, like, because you had to pass some of the inside, and then everyone's kind of slowed down. But if there's no one around, and the ideal way is you turn into this whole section once. If you find you're opening your hands and turning in again, that means you turned in too early.
You can get away with. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's just a real simple way to know that you've done it right. Is you turn in one decisive turn, and you gradually unwind, and everything just flows.
Yeah.
If it doesn't do that, you did it wrong.
You can enter, maybe not perfect, but if you don't apex and exit perfect, you're getting past.
Yeah.
It's like the second half of the turn from the apex out that is really more important.
Yep. It
it's all
bunches up a
important,
little bit. It bunches up a little bit right after 7 because it kind of seems like it tightens up because on the right side kind of pulls in. It gets wider and then it gets narrower. So you have to be careful there. But there's a good passing section between 7 and 8 and 9. The flag station here is the tree house. It's up on the right-hand side. You have to look way up to see it. But it's there so it can see down the hill that's coming ahead of it. But look out for that treehouse flag station. So if you come up through 7 and you can apex 8, you head toward 9. 9 is a hard left. There's usually gravel all over 9 because on the inside of 9 is obviously gravel. And so many people come into there and get shoved in off the track on the left because they're not paying attention really for what's going on with 9 because it's a little bit over a hill. So just be careful. There's often debris in 9.
It's funny. My track map has. Go on, Mental. Sorry.
I was gonna say they take that debris flag and they just post it like after about an hour. It ends up just hanging in that flag station.
Well, they pull it eventually because it's there. It's part of the track now. Just understand that's just
this is your new reality. There's debris in this corner.
Yeah. I was going to mention that I think 7, 8 to 9, that section really kind of like through 8 through 9 is probably one of my favorite passing zones. Because so many people like hyper focus on kissing the cone at 8. And I don't think that's as important. You can kind of go 2 or 3 wide through 8 as long as you get it sorted by 9. That's a pretty good spot to catch some people sleeping.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. But getting it sorted coming into 9 is occasionally a little bit of a mess.
Yes.
And a lot of people I find do 9 wrong. They kind of try to do it like a traditional corner, but realize you're coming in with a lot of speed and you're going out with very little, but you need to exit 9 into 10 correctly. You can't have your suspension loaded up coming into 10. You've got to be neutral. So I like to come into 9 and kind of apex it a little on the early side, but like while I'm still braking, and then kind of turn a little like out into the corner a bit. If this makes sense. But the point of the end of it is after 9 is a little straight stretch where you're coming down the hill and you're crossing the track, and you need to be straight along the zebra striped Jersey barrier. Like be straight right along that coming into 10. 10 is where the turtle is as you're crossing back over the NASCAR track.
Door handle against the Jersey barrier. That's the best way to think of it. Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong. You've got a ton of laps here, but if I'm not mistaken, the way the actual pavement goes. It's a bit misleading. So your visual reference of the Jersey barrier is correct, because there is a tendency of people to follow the pavement and they find themselves out of position and they're really having a crank on it. They avoid the turtle, but then they find, like on rear wheel drive cars, their rear end sticks out, or front drive cars, they end up kind of
washing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, they wash, and because they're offline, because they're following the pavement, not the visual reference of the Jersey barrier.
Yeah. You give up 9 completely. 9 is a throwaway corner. You use it to take speed from 7 and 8 and to prepare for the section from 10 to 11. That's all it is. But be aware that there's this thing we call the turtle at 10, that the flag worker here is standing behind the wall on the other side of the NASCAR track. And there is a huge bump in the pavement up near there where they're standing. And we've been trying to argue like why it exists. We think it has something to do with holding the wall back that they put there, but also it's there to dissuade you from getting anywhere near that wall where people would like to cut. Because if you hit this, you're probably going to flip.
I was just going to say, turtle.
That is not an exaggeration.
Well, people have flipped there. I mean,
yeah,
turtle is not as descriptive as like Galapagos tortoise.
It's gotten bigger over the years. Yeah.
Rock of Gibraltar, I think, is probably
like a 25-pound turkey that they
It's about right. It's about right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You don't want to hit it.
Unless you're in a Citroen SM, you don't want to put any wheels near it.
No.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're cutting in that close to that side of it,
you did it wrong.
You're offline.
Yeah.
Your proper line through that corner doesn't bring you near it.
The line through here does vary a bit through 10. It really opens up wide, but then it narrows again tightly into 11. So there's room to pass, but know that everyone's going to get sorted by 11. But the thing that can trip people up in 10 is it's bumpy. Mm-hmm. As soon as you hit the NASCAR section, it changes the elevation. You go from downhill to flat, and then it has some crown to it. So you kind of go back up again, and then you get to the other side of this and you go back down. So
it's like 4 surfaces, and each one of them is a different material.
Yeah.
Because it's blacktop to concrete to blacktop.
I think it's all asphalt. It's just different ages.
Yes.
And different uses. So, but the safest way through this is to very late apex it. If you early apex, you end up pushing wide. You end up having the car out of sorts while it goes over all these bumps, and it's not going to go well. So if you late apex, you can get on the gas early, and you can make this turn like while the car's loaded up but not out of sorts over the first bump, and by the second bump you're going straight and it's not a big deal, and you have a nice run down to 11, so you can get ahead of the people that took it too wide and are coming in and are going to get squeezed out on the inside coming into 11.
And I would like to throw in here too, this is an area to exercise caution. If you're all red misty and fangs out and you're trying to come through here and make up some time, this is a corner I almost lift habitually, because you can see, if you're a visual track person and you're looking at the cars in front of you, you can almost see accidents before they happen. Almost every time you're like, oh, these idiots are totally going to wad into each other right now, and I'm just going to roll back so I can drive around them. And that's actually I don't know. I've lost count of how many accidents I've driven around in that corner and picked up like a couple of spots, because there's 5 people, or somebody was, they went wide and they didn't end up getting collected in an accident, but they basically have to come to a stop and wait for a clearance in traffic to the right to go around the mess.
Are you talking about like 11 or 12?
Just right after the turtle. There's, people get, they get
like
in there,
in
the bumpy
straight
pavement.
Yeah.
They get in the bumpy pavement. They've already screwed it up, and they're totally not understanding what is happening to their suspension, and they end up wadded into somebody else.
Chris, when's the last time you spun a car?
Rode Atlanta 2 years ago.
Oh, not Betty.
Oh.
No,
that was you, Jeff.
Well, I spun too.
It's on our YouTube channel, actually.
Jeff and I both hadn't spun in years, and then both spun Betty the first time they ever brought it to the track, and we said, this car is evil. We got to fix this balance on this thing.
But you spun right there between 10 and 11.
Yeah. And when I was started to spin, I was surprised. I said, "What the hell? Why am I spinning?" I wasn't.
I actually had the exact same thought. What the hell did that just happen? Why am I spinning?
Yeah. All right. So coming
12.
to 11. No,
11,
we'll
12.
still at 11. It really tightens up, and you basically kind of have to go through here single file. If you go double file, it really does slow everybody down.
No.
And on the right hand side at 11A is a big curbing, and so many people have hit it. There's now a huge pothole there. If you run through the pothole, you're probably going to break something. So give up a little, slow down, let everyone will get through. But you're better off if you get everyone sorted and don't push wide in 11A.
Yeah.
And
everyone will, but
yeah. And then when you coming out of 11A, there should be kind of like a 12A and B realistically here. You track out, but don't track out too far because again, there's another curb that's a big curb that's going to upset the car coming into 12, which is onto the straight. And no, that one has 12 and 12A. Jeff's map. That's good. So you can track out to the curb, but don't use the curb after 11.
Yes, agreed.
But you want to make sure though that you are really 11, 11A, and 12 is all a throwaway to get yourself set up for 12, which is bringing you onto the straight. So get yourself out to that curb, but not on it. Watch out for because this is where you get back into the pits. Is on the left hand side.
This is also pit in.
Yep, it is trafficy, so be careful. But if you stay wide, and then once there's a line of cones that kind of separate where pit in is from people going onto the straight, especially because there's a wall that sticks out there for the NASCAR section. So you really don't want to take these cones out for the weekend because they're there to keep you from head on into the wall for the pit lane. So stay wide of them, but I like to come nice and close as I'm accelerating onto the straight for 12. Mm-hmm. And you do that.
It's a good drift onto that. Nice.
Yep. But if you've gotten the track out of 11 correct, you've got a nice line from not hitting that curb on the right through along the cones, past the wall, out onto the straight. And then you track out to be near the wall to your right and full throttle. And this is not a high speed straight by any means. Like the Civic, I don't think ever gets out of fifth, where most tracks were well into sixth. So you'll go along there and it's a normal straight.
Chrissy, what's the most important turn on the track?
One before the straight.
The one before the straight. Absolutely.
And this is actually, if you can exercise patience through 11 and 11A and 12A, if you're an A-class car or B-class car and you're rolling up on something slower, this is a great place to you take a breath, because as you drift wide coming out of 12, it's a great place to make a safe, visible, great pass. If you've got somebody running, the little video camera over there, you look like a total hero if you just exercise some patience coming through there. And it's a great, you'll see a lot of passing going there because it's a good, safe, honest place to pass.
The straight's wide too.
Straight's really wide.
You can go 4 wide there.
And the slowdown in the S's and the 11 and 12 area is so slow, and they're really like it's like Monaco in Formula One. No one is going to pass you if you go through it right. So just take your time. If you need to give a gap so you can accelerate before they accelerate, because you're going to pass them, that is the best method. This is traffic management corner, not do the line and expect to pass everyone corner.
It was the best car ever for this corner for 11A 12. It's the boat. Because people
I was gonna cut you off and say the boat, because people
would get next to that transom, that big solid transom, and go, you know what? Nope, not gonna tangle with that thing.
I don't know.
And plus, you had just planted it on their bumper through the curves when they expected it to be a chicane, and then you'd be like, "I'm sorry, let me play you the song of my 4.3 liter Freedom people."
I don't know.
It was a terrible song.
I felt that the boat kind of got winded down the straight. So I prefer,
straight, sure. But
I prefer 11 and
11A.
Yeah. No, 11 11A definitely worked here, but
it had a presence in that corner. But down the straight, you're just wheezing your throttle body injection.
but you've already intimidated them. And then because you weren't going that fast down the straightaway, it was a great time for that long reach over into fifth and then turn your head completely to the left and let that opponent know that's right. You just got passed by a boat.
Yep. All right. So we're coming into one. One is the banked NASCAR turn, but we don't use the NASCAR oval here. Now I like to brake way later than you think here, because using the banking, you can get
so wide.
You can go so late. We usually brake at like the one, sometimes like later than the one. Like
it's later because you get a good compression on that.
Yeah. I think there are two good lines into one.
I agree.
The fastest one is to stay out wide and you brake way late on the banking and turn on the banking and gradually tuck yourself in along the candy stripes on the inside of one, but almost with no track out really at all. That's the fastest one. The line you end up driving a lot is the more defensive one or the passing one where you just stay hugged right inside of it.
Cheat in. Yep.
Yeah, you cheat in, and then you want to be right by the turn one flagger, and you just hug along the inside all the way around. And again, no track out at one, really.
Yes. If you're listening to this podcast for the first time, or it's your first time in New Hampshire, and you're not driving an A-class pointy-end car, expect to get overtaken here and expect it to be a surprise. Look at everyone we talked about, the Scooby-Doo, the Bazingas, the FRS Ugly Uncle, Momath Racing, all of your fast cars. Just expect to be surprised on the outside when they just come whipping around you. Just hold your line. They know what they're doing, but you're suddenly going to hear an engine and look to your right, and it's going to surprise you a little bit. It's going to happen a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so no track out of one. And when one is the left, 1A is the right. Again, no track out. People do this wrong all the time, is the 1A into 2, and they cost so much speed there. Jeff?
I want to say 1 and 1A, excuse me, is, we already mentioned, basically leaving the NASCAR oval and kind of S-ing through the midfield. A lot of people go off here. And
people spin.
People spin.
They lift the throttle and they just come.
Or they get just pushed off into either the NASCAR straight or whatever. And that grass gets chewed up and it gets brought back onto the track surface very frequently. So
the apex of 1A a lot.
Yeah. So just be careful of the clobs of dirt, especially in the rain. It might get muddy out there. It's not marbles like what is it, 7?
But it's also, and even if you're driving clean, it's for all of the new teams that threw away your windshield wipers to save that quarter of a pound, you're going to hate that because it's especially Sunday, it's going to hit your windshield.
Sorry, 9. It's not marbly like 9. It's just dirty.
Yeah. I've got our windshield wipers in the trailer to put back on the car. So, all right. So 1A, the right-hander, do not track out here at all. Your track out is the right-hand side of the track, driver's right after through the corner. If you track out, you're going to ruin yourself into 2. 2 is where you enter back onto the NASCAR oval. So the way to do this is through 1, super late apex, so there's 0 track out, and then on the little tiny straight between 1 and 2, stay on the right-hand curb and get the car neutral again. If you get the car neutral again, you're all right. And then run a fairly late apex past the people who are coming onto the blend line. There's some yellow curb, like very shallow curb markers,
like
there.
Little rubber doohickeys on the pavement.
Right. You want to apex there, but it's on the new surface is where you want to apex, and not on the NASCAR surface, not on the infield surface. If you're apexing earlier, you're losing speed. So
this is another play. Oh, sorry, Chris.
Yeah, you can get on the gas really early.
Yeah.
Apex a little later, and then you've got the banking. Just remember you've got the banking, so you can get on the gas earlier than you think. And because you're apexing later, you're spending more time on the banking, which means more speed. And you track out about 2/3 of the way, I'd say, up the oval there. And then you kind of just have a natural flow from 2 into 3 as you have a curve while you're on a fairly straight stretch of track.
I was just going to say, this is another section where you're transitioning between multiple sets of pavement, like probably 3 in this section, like kind of one right after another. And I found that the chute in the middle seemed to give me the best traction. Probably the wet. I don't even know what the wet line here is, Chris, but
you're gonna have to feel out the track, the
like,
different surfaces. I haven't been in that track in the wet in a couple of years, so since they've made some of these changes, so feel them out, feel the different surfaces out. But in general, you can't really go wrong with getting the car turning while you're on the banking, because you get more grip there. What I recall is I think I had very little grip down low, but if you just kind of let the car drift up, eventually it just catches, and then you keep going.
I think I found, especially in the ombre and the boat, like using the angle of the compression of the suspension by hitting the angles correctly was way important.
Yeah,
because that's what's going to get you the grip. When you compress that suspension, the tires are pushing much harder on the pavement. So even though it didn't feel like the traditional like outside inside outside line, it was better.
It's a much later apex than most people do.
Yeah,
because most people track out partway after turn 1A, don't get back to the right side for 2, so end up early apexing 2, pushing out toward the wall, and then they can't get on the gas for a long time. So you can pass lots of people if you late apex 2 because you didn't track out at 1A and you didn't track out at 1.
Yep, totally understand it.
And you will see that frustration right as they enter into 3 again, because like, oh my God, I'm the faster guy. Why are like 4 cars getting on the inside of me all of a sudden?
Because you aren't that fast.
Or because you're an Audi team with like matching seats. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? They haven't been there in a while, so nobody cares.
They haven't been there in a while, so it's okay. Hey, and if you find someone that's in a car that should be slower, that's faster in some corners of you, follow them. See what they're doing. They might have been here for a long time.
Turn off your ego and turn on your student.
Yeah. Like I always used to tell people, follow Bert as long as you can when you're in New Hampshire.
Because that car has no reason to be going as fast as it does.
Yeah.
No, they just know their stuff. We are actually going to include a track map. I believe it is from the fishtailridingschool.com, but we linked it to our show notes.
Oh.
So you can open this up and follow along with this track walk as we go through this.
Oh, Menta, you could have made it your profile picture, and then we could have seen it in a little square.
Too late.
Too late for you.
I'm not as Zoom savvy as you are, Jeff.
Well, I live on it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, I just want to say one more thing about 3, between 2 and 3 is, you mentioned it. It's a knife fight. It gets narrow. It is going to the slowest part of probably not the slowest part of the course, slowest part of the course, probably.
And there will be times when you will stop and put the vehicle in first gear because there's so many people trying to squeeze through there.
Yeah.
Either 2 or 11. That's where you end up everyone's slowest.
Yeah, it's pretty close to 11, but there are many people are taking many different lines through this. Some people are like door handling the going across the gators and door handling the tires and cutting across. You need to have your head on a swivel. This is probably the one place where you're likely to get hit by somebody because you were doing something right or they were doing something wrong. I just think, there's it's a long race. Be prudent. Keep your car from being bent because you don't want that black flag.
Fact.
But yeah, I might pass you on by going door handle those tires. It might happen.
Yep.
Because I'm aggro like that. But you gotta know what you're doing. you this is again another traffic management turn. Mm-hmm. Where a lot of times you're like, I know Chris told me it's fast out there, but that freaking car is a slug and I'm not going there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, totally.
Track walk. Anything else? All right.
And let's go ahead and throw this out there. If you've got lessons learned from New Hampshire, go ahead and get a hold of us on any of our social medias. Or if you learned something this weekend, get a hold of us on our social medias or text us. We're trying to do that. So far, it's just Craigers. And this one person
As
who
if he
told me
didn't have your phone number anyway.
right, because he got it off the bathroom wall. But if also, and there's that one guy who told me if I give him my bank account information, I can sponsor next year's race season with apparently my dead uncle who lived in Nigeria. But
Been there.
yeah,
It's a great Onion headline: legitimate Nigerian prince struggling to give away money.
Is it time for our favorite part of the episode? Chrissy's going to give us just a tip. No, we're not getting just a tip from Chrissy.
no, sorry.
Mental, would you like to give me just the tip?
The answer to that question is always yes. To that end, so I was helping out Ken with gear inspection at Gingerman, and I want to talk about gear expiration. Now, the last time there was a major helmet expiration was when the SA 2005s were dying, and the production could not keep up, and Lemons and every other organization out there extended it for a year. Folks, if you've got an SA 2010 helmet, it's done. You're not getting another year. And I saw 4 2020 helmets. So they're out there. Get online, go to your reputable sources and find a good 2020 helmet. Maybe order the same one you have, or go to Winding Road. Go to, what's the one out of New Jersey Motorsports Park? Why can't I never remember it?
Driving impressions.
Driving Impressions. Go to Driving Impressions. Go to Discovery Parts. Go to Wine Country Motorsports and try on a dozen different helmets and find the one you want that has the features that you want. Spend the money. Your head is worth it. But your 2010s are no good after December 31st. And we had a guy who said, no, it's okay. The SCCA said I had another year.
Didn't Lemons already say that the 2010s would be good through 2021? Because
Nope. No, because the 2020s are out there. The reason they said that the first time was because there were production problems.
I thought they were going to, because they thought COVID was going to delay, but it looks like the COVID has not delayed the production.
And I'm not going to say that they're not going to say that, but what I'm saying is I saw 4 2020 helmets this week doing gear inspections.
Yeah, they were only allowed to start selling them October 1st.
Right.
Oh, good. That's a good tip there.
I think there might have
Mr.
been
Christopher.
pre-sales for groups. We had
Yeah.
our local
Yeah.
whatever they are, SCCA. I don't know what they are. That were making a group order, but I don't know that they were getting delivered anytime
They weren't
soon.
allowed to be in anyone's hands until October 1st.
Hey, it is after October 1st, so I'm surprised.
Exactly. No. And everything Chris is saying is fact. But go to your favorite reputable seller if you've got an SA 2010. And if you don't know what you have, like I had several people walk up
I just
and
had to look at
hold
mine.
up. They hold up the back of their helmet and they show me where it said SA, which is that's for you, the consumer. But the safety inspectors are going to reach in. They're going to pull back the molding, and it is either left, right, or center. And you are looking for an orange and white helmet. Now, there was one poor guy who bought he says it was an SA 2015, not working, Jeff, not enough light in there. Oh, hey, there it goes. That works. So Jeff's is good for another 5 years, but some poor guy, and they tried to pull the sticker out of there and it ripped up. So it basically says 201 in blank. And I said, I don't know how much you paid for this thing, but in basically 2.5 months, it's worthless because we're not going to accept it. But I saw a 201, which means you're good for this race.
I'd like to mention that Mental, although a volunteer for Lemons, is not a Lemons official, and only the Lemons official website is where we will know.
I am a Lemons official. Actually, they've paid me to do this, and I have 3 shirts, 2 of which I'll be loaning to you guys this weekend. So now, look, rules are rules, and you know, whatever organization or email or Facebook group you went to, it doesn't matter. If the organization you're racing with says you are done at this point, you can argue all you want, but Dale and Ken are not letting you on the track. And these are the guys that looked at Michael Schumacher at Indy in the Formula race there and said yay or nay. So you can't dissuade them. They are stubborn, and rightly so. They keep us safe. So if you've got an SA 2010, you've got till December. Get a new helmet. Get on that mailing list and order it now. You've got until Barber next February.
I'm going to get every last mile I can out of mine. I'm taking it here, taking it to Atlanta.
Hey, go for it. Absolutely. And good on you. And then print it up on the trophy shelf and said, this helmet has been fantastic and I love it, but it's expired.
No,
You can
it'll
use it
go
for autocross, and you can use
right
it
in
for
the trash.
construction. Yeah.
For those of you on YouTube, yes, I just smelled my helmet to see how fresh it was. It's got
It's
more
not,
time
it's
in
not
it.
fresh. It's not fresh at all. The other aspect of this is not a rule, but it's coming. Look at your Hans device. Now, the official manufacturer's recommendation for both the G-Force, the Hans device, the G-Force versions, the Defenders, and for the what they call the hybrid versions, where you can do it for right seat instruction in a traditional
That's the
3-point.
Simpson.
Any of the head and neck restraints.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, any of the head and neck restraints. The manufacturers on all of those recommend replacing the webbing on those every 5 years, just like the belt in your car, because it's the same material. Now, you can order for traditional Hans or any of this, you can order the new webbing, and it'll come with an FIA production date sticker. But what they will not do is update the SA fire rating on the Hans device itself. So send it in. I saw 6 of them that had been updated this weekend. They were cost between $50 and $70. If they had to replace the padding, it was $70. The turn time was as short as 1 week and as long as 3 weeks. This is a great winter project for your Hans. Look at the expiration date and send it in there. Again, not a rule for any of the major amateur endurance series, but it's coming because it's
We've had all ours
smart
done.
idea. Yep. Yeah. And how much did you spend on your Hans, Chris?
I don't know. It was so many years ago.
But it was several
Don't
hundred
remember.
dollars. Yeah,
Sure.
several
But
hundred
the
dollars.
fact that, but that's a great, because we had it recerted, I didn't have to spend that again. It was a lot cheaper to get it recerted than to buy a new one.
That's my point. Whole lot cheaper to get it resorted. So, and that's something you can do in the off season. So that's what we were seeing is a lot of stuff. And the great thing about people wearing their driver's suit, aside from not having to smell things that have come out of the bag that they haven't touched since the last race, is they're also aggressively looking for tears and rips. So go through your gear. And that's not going away. The wear your gear to the gear inspection, that's staying after the Rona goes away because it's faster and it's safer. And I would expect all of the other major series to involve that. So that's just something I wanted to throw out there from my experiences of inspecting people's gear. And the other aspect is like, one guy showed up, he had a set of Simpsons gloves. There was no SFI tags on any of them. And in fact, they'd never been attached to it. Clearly they were counterfeits, and the guy couldn't even remember where he got them. Luckily, his teammate said, yeah, you know what? Those are lame. We've got him covered, and we had him bring back another set of stuff. Do not argue with the gear inspectors that, oh, well, it's been good for the last 5 races. Don't care. Totally don't care. If it doesn't meet the standards, it doesn't meet the standards. So go through your gear, check it all out, make sure not only is it good for the New Hampshire race, but that it is going to be good going into the next year. That's my soapbox. I'll step off now.
Woohoo! We did actually. We have the Defender, which is no longer sold, but is now produced by what's the company? They're took them over.
Next gen.
Yeah.
And it was a great system, but they got sued for copyright.
They got sued. Yeah. So
It was
the next
it was
gen
better than Hans because it's got those bars
little
that stick
slide,
up to
yeah,
keep
yeah.
your head from going side to side.
It really
does.
work.
Yeah. I was just going to say, and next gen recertified them. So please don't think, oh, I don't know who does this. Absolutely get them recertified. Does anybody know what we're doing next week?
Oh, it's going to be the hangover.
Yeah, because that's what we usually do after a race.
For
once.
And
For
you know
once
what?
we know.
Yeah, I didn't realize this. I have not been to New Hampshire since 2014.
Really? Wow.
Great. I'm geeked about this now. I have missed the gorgeous fall colors and everything for 6 years.
Well, excellent. Glad to have you back.
Bam. I'm trying to get my thing's not running. Hold on a second.
And if my internet cooperates while Jeff is arguing with the wires, that was it was 8 years ago in 2012 when the hipster with the fangs tried to hit on me because I was wearing a cowboy hat and cowboy boots. Until she realized I was not wearing them ironically. I was wearing them because I lived in Oklahoma. despite the fact that I was flashing my ring at her the whole time. And I looked at Chrissy and I mouthed the words, help me.
Save me.
And Chrissy looked at me and said, no, because she thought it was hysterical to watch this happen. And when the woman realized that I was not wearing the cowboy hat and boots, ironically, suddenly she was offended because adultery's okay, but a redneck, no, that's just not going to work.
I completely recall this. I remember every moment of this. Oh, thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hate us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, Chrissy, do you remember where you put it? Down there in the doodly-doo.
I already went up here in the doodly-doo.
So down there in the doodly-doo. Up there is where you subscribe. Down there in the doodly-doo. Or you could drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com, or text Mental. Make sure you realize he's in Las Vegas time, 484-243-0455. I should say I actually set it up to my phone, so I might respond too. We are stealing this bit from Apex Adjacent Podcast. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side off the giant rock. Unless there is no giant rock, and then just keep going down the bowl. Stop button.